So if you're slightly interested in the game of golf, you might have realised a new series of irons have come out from Titleist this week. And because I want the views and the AdSense, I'm going to be doing one as well. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. So I'm down here at Oxford Golf Centre. We haven't been down here for a very long time. I did message the guys down here and said, do you have the new Titleist iron heads in? They said yes. I said, can I come down and film with them? They said yes. Can I upload it to YouTube? They said yes. So here I am. I'm on the range and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on these irons. Mainly because the majority of my channel is slagging off manufacturers for irons, and hopefully I've got to a sense now that if I like something that comes out that's new, you guys might actually take it seriously. And to be perfectly honest, I quite like these. Okay, so I better do some explaining. And no, I'm not going to even show you any of my numbers because I find that purely pointless. I'm going to hit the T300 210 plus yards because, well, it's a 6 iron at 29 degrees, and with the T200 just being a degree stronger than that, again, it's going to be a mile too long for a player that swings it at 95 miles an hour with an iron. And yes, I'm going to be a big fan of the T100 because it's basically a blade when you look over it, and as any single figure handicapper, you're always going to go, yes, I'm good enough to hit these, when in reality, we're probably not. But that isn't why I'm a big fan of all three of these irons. The problem with the AP series is that you couldn't really tell them all apart. No one could tell if you had AP2 or AP3 or AP1, and at the same time they never blended as a set. If you had a combo set of AP2s and AP1s or AP3s and AP2s, it just didn't look right. However, I do feel with these, even though they look completely different, and let's be honest, when we're talking about irons nowadays, if you're going to go and hit the ball further, it's because it's de-lofted. If you're going to have more precision, it's because the head's smaller. So when we're talking about irons now, it's basically how well do they blend and how well do they look. Whereas these irons, for example, not only separate themselves to the fact that you can see what a T300 is in the bag all the way up to a T100, but if you put them alongside each other, combo set, they're not going to look out of place, and actually they all look world class. So let's get into how they feel and felt, because let's be honest, that's very generic, and I can just stand here all day, just like the majority of people, and go, these feel nice. And what does nice actually mean? The T300 felt like an AP1 would do, but it is the cheaper version out of the set. And at the same time, for that person that plays a handful of times a month, isn't going to play or practice 6 hours a week down at the driving range, you don't look like one of those players with this. Actually, you've got a thermostat on the back of this, which basically looks the part. Whereas these two irons here, I'd happily game. Now, obviously, the T100 is probably going to be more for me, mainly because of the loft, and loft is a very important factor when we look at irons. This is a 7 iron, still relatively strong at 34 degrees. These are both 6 irons. However, the main principle of a Titleist iron, the T series, is to not only get the distance, but the launch. And I have to say, with all three of these irons, I could still probably get them to stop all on a green. Mainly because I can still get a 6 iron to stop on a green. For you that might want to know what the tech is, and to be perfectly honest, you can read that on a website. These are all with the M zone, max impact, with these little dots behind the middle of the face to make that ball go that extra bit further. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't possibly tell you whether that made the slightest bit of difference. However, these two irons felt absolutely unreal out the middle. This felt very much similar to every other AP1 that I've ever hit. Again, they worked on sole interaction because grass has evolved and developed over years. Again, I couldn't possibly tell you what the grass is doing. I'm more worried about thinning it out the back. These T100, 200, 300 irons, I do feel have done exactly what the TS 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers have done for Titleist in the market. They've put their foot down. They've gone, we're still here and we can still be fresh. That's exactly what they have done with these. No, I wouldn't say they've come with a big technological boost, because at the end of the day, there's only so far an iron can have. You need 7 irons in your bag, so if they all go a monstrously long way, how can you hit any of them at 100 yards? Unfortunately, Titleist are still in the same situation that they've been in for near on 8 years now. And that's, everyone wants to play the APT. You've now got near on 6 different irons that have been released this year. However, I can guarantee you their #1 seller is going to be this one. And the problem is they've designed an iron that pretty much does it all. It looks like a player's club, it feels like a player's club, it gives you the precision of a player's club. Yet if you slap it or hit it thin or out the heel or out the toe, you're going to get some forgiveness. I can't see anyone going past this on the tour to put the T200 in the bag. T200 in a 3 iron would be unreal. But at the end of the day, all we're talking about, the MBs and the T300, it's for a club fitter to basically go around and go, you didn't quite get on with the T100, so let me just give you a few other heads that are slightly more lofted or slightly less lofted, and let's tweak about with those so we can find the right numbers. So I guess the ultimate question is, would I spend near on £160 a stick on this, or go and get a 718 set of AP2s from last year? If I spent months, weeks trying to find that perfect set on eBay or Golf Bidder, knowing what shaft, knowing what length, knowing what lie, I'd still probably end up with this in the bag. So guys, if you want to see the numbers of me hitting these for whatever reason, or I can add to the onslaught of comparisons and reviews that you're gonna see over the next couple of weeks just for the engagement and the views, then I'm more than happy to do that. Please leave a comment down below. However, there is my view, there is my opinion on all 3 of these irons. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. As always, please subscribe. Catch you guys there.